trying to get the setup right. It's a really, really difficult thing because I want these two things. I want my screen and I want I want me to be seen, and I want the painting to be filmed, which isn't that easy, and there are always lots of issues, but hopefully it's going to work a little bit. The biggest problem now is that my phone keeps heating up. And of course I have a lawnmower issue. Worked so well for a while. And in some ways I'm just gonna have to keep trying and see what works. But anyway, welcome to this live stream. Maybe this is going to be the one that I can actually keep on on my page, because I had to delete quite a few ones. I'm just going to keep going here. I am painting a nebula. So I'm painting two stars, maybe a newly formed star. I think perhaps this has exploded and lost its shell and is now a white dwarf. This one has newly formed and is kind of expanding the gas out, and it's just ignited. That's what I'm imagining anyway. I need to imagine something when I paint these nebulas, to have something to go by. So yeah, let's just try to keep this stream going until my camera overheats again. I am getting closer. I can feel I'm getting to the point where I can have a proper live stream, and it's just going to go well, and we're just going to have a nice time, and I don't have to keep talking about the setup. You're not supposed to be thinking about the setup. I am not supposed to be thinking about the setup. But I think probably everyone who's been doing live streams has had these issues in the beginning, unless you kind of inherited it or did it through some kind of an organization. But I have dimmed my screen. Hopefully it's not going to get that warm again. So yeah, I'm just going to paint this nebula. So we actually started the nebula in the last live stream. So what I'm imagining here is that, at least at first now, it's just going to be, they're going to be lit from within. So these two stars are lighting up the gas clouds around them in their own kind of light. And then we're going to add stars eventually that will light it from different spots. And then I'm kind of thinking that they're kind of meeting here in the middle. What I actually wanted is that these stars should have some kind of an interaction with each other, but I'm not sure if that's going to look a little bit too crazy. It could be is that what I imagined in the beginning is that it's kind of that these kind of merge into each other, but I think I'm going to abandon that, and we're just going to go off of what is there now. So it's just going to be, let's get the light from this one star. Let's see, I have lots of different brushes here. I'm going to have to keep switching. I have these little tiny Chinese ones, which I really, really like. They're so versatile, but some things they can't do, so I need a good set of different brushes here to do what I want. Yes, this is a new team. Welcome to the stream, youll. So this is the universe theme that's going to come out mid-September, which is what I'm working on now. For my Forces of Nature, I did one journal that had a nebula, and I thought it was so much fun that I really wanted to start just right away on this theme. But then it was spring and it was time to do some flowers, so I did that one first. And now that the spring theme is out and the flowers are there, I can now go over to the nebula. So it's going to be space, basically, the universe theme. But I'm not just going to do the nebulas, we're going to have landscapes. So we're going to have this feeling of standing in the landscape often and looking into a nebula. I actually have one that I did this morning that I can show. So this nebula theme here, so you can see that we're kind of in the landscape and we're looking into an exploding star. So that's something I really love this theme. There's something about painting nebulas that is just incredibly satisfying. This glow, painting glow, is something I really love. Practiced that mostly from my fantasy launch, and then ever since that, it's something I'm really enamored by. I hope so, Yuna. I really think it's going to be nice. It might be a little bit spaced out for some people, but I think it's going to be really nice. There's something about nebulas. I can't really describe it. I just really love. I really love them, and I know a lot of people do. Oh, thank you. So yeah, so that's the theme now, and I'm going to do that on cups, on candle holders. I'm getting some books now, so this theme is going to be on books as well. I didn't get them in time for the Little Wonders theme that is in the shop now, so the books are coming back to the store with lots and lots of nebulas on them. And I'm gonna have to practice different things. I can't just do these kinds of nebulas, so I've been trying to learn the different kinds of nebulas. And of course, I think I'm going to do planets, moons, all kinds of different things, anything universe related, basically. So I haven't planned it all out yet. What I like to do, I have some ideas, and then I fulfill those, and while I do those, I can get to new things. I'm sure there are lots of different universe theme things, Saturn and moons and the rings and so on. And I'm just imagining that we're on Earth in beautiful forests, looking out, and we've kind of acquired supervision, and so we're able to look into space and see the nebulas. That's kind of the way that I'm going to be painting them. In a way, keeping what I like to do, this feeling of being in the forest and in nature, and sometimes you look up in the sky and you see the Milky Way, and you can just imagine seeing everything. So that is what I want. Yesterday I saw the first star in the sky after, well, since mid-May, I think. It's always such a beautiful sight to see the return of the stars. We're gonna have summer for a little while yet, but it's getting darker, and this just, the magical time is now ahead of us, and that first little star kind of promising. It's so beautiful, I think. Because it's just been light here, so there's like a month or two where there are just no stars in the sky. but now they're back, and I'm just so happy about that. So what we can do is, let's see, I'm going to be working a little bit more on the other nebula here, and then I want a little bit on the landscape already, just to have a feel for how everything is going to look. So this is a white dwarf, though. We need to have a little, to actually see it, I think, in the middle. Let's see if we change the brush here. Like so. And then that shines. Can have some clouds just right around it that are just completely white. Some great space theme YouTube channels. Oh yeah, even the I've been watching so many of those channels now to get into this theme. To really, sometimes I just have them on loop when I do something else or when I paint now, just to get into the mood, and listening to this kind of the music that people often use in those channels for space. I'm absolutely there with you. I love those. I know there's something about that, just that feeling of becoming so infinitely small and just kind of insignificant when you see in what an enormous place we live. I know there's something soothing about that. A little bit scary, but also very soothing. So it's actually helpful. I can watch the screen here and see how it turns out. A little bit differently than watching it here. So the mixture of the two we're going to have here. So we have the light from this star hitting here, and then we'll have the light from the other one hitting on the other side. And then of course we're going to have other stars in between here, and they're going to light it up too. And then we have some stars in front, and probably not in the back. I think perhaps we're just looking into the vast universe and into the cloud, and we're not able necessarily to see too far behind unless I paint some darker areas. So maybe in order to make it appear lighter, we'll actually have the background here darker. We'll make like something like this. Should make everything that's behind it appear a bit darker. Kind of the sides too. Like so. And of course it's always possible to then see how big the trees are going to be. They could be really small and these could be huge mountains, or we could be really in the landscape. I haven't really done that yet. In the other one, as you can see here, I made the mountains really far off. What I think might be cool too is just to almost just have kind of grasses and then be out in space. But there's going to be lots of different paintings for this theme. So there's enough time to try out all of that. Of course we could have trees right away. I always put these mountains and I'm getting a little bit annoyed at that. Let's not have that. Let's just make let's make trees. And then we can have some darker trees in front of those. I think that's what I want to do this time, and I can make them more detailed as well. Sometimes you repeat yourself when you go on autopilot, and it's important to just, okay, no. Something a little bit different in the landscape. I'm just going to do it like this first, and then the details can come later. So perhaps we're in the middle of a forest here, and we're kind of looking out through the trees or something. There might be a little water here or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. Not entirely sure what we're going to do in front. I'm going to have it green though. This isn't going to be a winterscape, I think. It's going to be plenty of those, I'm sure. But let's actually have a green foreground. And then the trees are over here. Like so. Let's see, what I thought we could do, we could start to have some more stars, and they're going to light up the nebula too. Of course, the question is if the entire thing is a nebula, or if just this is. But maybe the entire thing is... No, I don't think so. This is... Thank you, Misty Tesla. Welcome to the stream. I'm trying to figure out exactly which way this is going to go. Let's make it a little bit darker around the edges. And that might help us decide a little bit more. If it's a larger nebula, the entire thing, or if it's space around it and the nebula is kind of sitting in there. Now I'm probably going to have to destroy some of the stars. But I think we can have some space at the edges, and then it's probably going to be more nebula than just those clouds that I've kind of delineated here. Welcome, Aman. No, it's probably good that you joined late. I had a lot of difficulties with the first half hour, so that stream I've had to take down again. So I've actually only started this one. We did start the painting in the other stream, but my phone overheated. It's probably going to overheat again, but haven't figured out exactly what I can do about it, except for just dim the screen. So we're just going to keep going until, if this shuts off, at least now I know what it is. But you're welcome to the stream now, and I hope you like the new setup. I hope everyone can hear me fine. We had some issues there last time too. But it's all a learning journey, and at some point it's going to get more relaxed and proper, and I think it's getting close. So as I just said, I am working on my new theme. It's space, the universe, and nebulas and so on. Let's see here. You can just imagine, this is just lighting up. So I think, let's see. If we light up the nebula a little bit from behind, I mean, nebulas can radiate too, so we can make it a little bit green. Some of the nebulas have some beautiful green colors as well. We can imagine that the light it gives off here is a little bit green. I am still not completely practiced at painting nebulas. It's really something to learn. But I'm just going to imagine that the nebula here gives off a little bit of green light. So as far as I understand, nebulas can give off a light from within. They can be lit, of course, from without, from the stars. Some are dark, which means just that you can't see the light because the gases are blocking. And I'm sure there's just an enormous amount of variety of nebulas that I still haven't yet discovered. If we have a star up, let's see. So the thing with the colors is, of course, we want it to be a little bit harmonious. I don't want it to just be chaotic. We'll have, I'll just put 2, 3 more of the yellow orange ones. One here. Maybe we'll have a little one here. We'll put one over here, and they can light up a little some of the areas around them, and we'll have 2 here. They'll give off the color that they have themselves. Let's yes, that is the new setup here. So I have purchased a lot of different things, a lot of wrong things firstly, but now it seems to be right. I have all the different cables I need. I have Lena's old camera, I have a new phone, I have cables to Lena's computer. So hopefully this is exactly, it's a way to connect more, and a new microphone. Hopefully that works. So I am hoping that all of this is going to make it easier to connect and nicer to see, and a better experience for everyone, for me and for you. Because I really want to just have this experience of inviting everyone in and being able to see it properly and so on. What's the size of your canvas? So this is an 18 times 24 canvas, so quite a small one. It's the smallest canvas that I work on. But one that I really work on quite a lot, since I'm quite of a miniature painter. And it's for me it's a nice size. I can still get in a large landscape, but it's possible to finish. I have a large one here behind me, but it does take a long time. When you get into the little details, it really does take a while. Let's see, I get another brush here. I have so many new brushes, which is really exciting. So when we get to the really tiny details, it's possible to just do an incredible amount of small details now. Oh, you're very welcome, and welcome to the stream. We are starting to beat what we did last time. It's gone on for half an hour. I think that's going to have to be the goal, to just stretch it a little bit every time and learn what makes it fail in the end. Let's see, let's put down, well, actually I want it to be a little bit more yellow. There we are. I'm just going to smear them out. The nice thing, once we have those stars, we can then use the light to light up the nebula. And then some blue ones. I think we're going to have quite a lot more blue ones than yellow ones. Just make them radiate a bit. Like so. And then we'll do a few blue ones, and then we can use the light from the stars to light up our nebula. And my canvas is being lit up by the sun. To remove at least that glass. And get shadow on it. There we are. My God, this is quite a challenging stream, but oh well. Much better though than the things we've done before, I think, which is the important part. So what I do here is just to plop down a little bit of color, and then we'll smudge it out and create stars with it. This should of course be the brightest one. Have a little weak one here, light it up from below, and then have a few ones here. It's going to be a lot more stars eventually, but they're going to be on top of other ones. So these are kind of the ones that are just going to establish the light. Can have one in here and then light up the nebula from within. Well, thank you, Rebecca. I'm really happy that you do. It's taken me a long time to figure out. I could turn down the white setting on my camera, but then the sun is probably just going to disappear very soon, and then... Let me just do that though. I'm just going to turn down the... without destroying absolutely everything. Nope, that's the wrong way. Like so. A little bit darker, that's better. Yeah, this is definitely the setup that's going to... So in that sense, we are absolutely very far and almost at the finish line, because this, I think, really is how it's going to stay. Except for some technical issues, this really is the way to do it. It's much better. You can see it here, and I've always painted like this, but I think this is a really nice way of painting. It's the way that the Chinese always did it. You do have to kind of watch your back a little bit, but at least for live streams, this is perfectly fine. And I'm really glad that you like it. I spent so much time trying to figure out the way to do it. And I have so many things that I think are going to be really, really fun to paint. And of course, we're going to have a few live streams where we paint together like we did with the other live streams, and we can give the paintings away afterwards. But then I just wanted to make sure that the live stream is proper. So I'm going to have a few run-throughs, I think. And then we can start with the painting together and then giving away the paintings that we paint together. But for that, I think it's nice to kind of let everyone know and so on. So this one, for instance, is now a painting that's going to be for the next launch, while at some other times we're going to be painting the paintings together where you guys come with suggestions. I have a lawnmower behind me, so I'm just going to put my assist here, the audio thingy, to auto. So that hopefully we're not picking up too much of that. There are nice ambient sounds, and then there are lawnmowers. But this needs to be smoothed out. What I really like when painting nebulas is when you get to a point, and we're not completely there yet, but you get to a point where everything is established and it's just simply fun. And you can just, you know where things are, and you can just kind of play with everything. Now we could do some dark nebulas, and I think I'm actually going to do that before too many stars appear. There can be stars in front of those again. So a dark nebula is just a gas cloud where the light doesn't go through. Meaning that you have a gas cloud that isn't lit from without any stars that are close, and if there are stars within, the light can't penetrate the cloud. So for instance, we can have a dark nebula here, it's almost going to look like clouds, but it's not going to be clouds. And we can of course show that because in front of clouds there are never stars, but in front of dark nebulas, of course, there can be stars. I think, for instance, the Horsehead Nebula is an example of that. Oh my God, I am being lit up. But the painting isn't, and that's the most important thing. So these nebulas especially are always good to paint in stages. So it's not going to be finished now. It's always good to have them dry. For instance, I'm just going to show you this one that I finished this morning again, which dried, and then it was possible to paint on top of it so that it can glow in a very different way once it's once it's dried. Okay, I do have to think about that. Let's have a little curtain next time. So let's get some of that light from the stars onto our nebula. Oop. A little bit of reddish orangey yellow. A little bit more red though. I think we're gonna have some quite a lot more red from where the light hits them. So as far as I understand, the light from the stars, it's not just light, it's going to be a lot of radiation that can then make the nebulas glow as well. So I think that there seems to be a lot more to think about when you paint nebulas than there are when you paint clouds and so on. Well, there's a lot more opportunities for different things. While in some ways they seem to behave in superficially similar ways, as far as I can tell, they have completely different ways of behaving, and a lot more ways, because of course a nebula is just all kinds of different gases and different ways of being lit up, and of course light years across, which is a concept which is very difficult to grasp. So what I did say is that the nebula is going to be lit from the stars around. So for instance, this star is lighting up that. This one is going to perhaps light up this one a little bit at the edges. And maybe there are some clouds around it as well. So I think definitely this is going to be part of a bigger nebula. I am really looking forward to the stars and the moons and even the northern lights coming back pretty soon, and this mood of autumn to return. But if it's not here yet, I can still capture it in the painting. we can always do is to have a few stars. Oh my god. I'm just gonna move like this. What we can always do is to have a few stars that are much closer and in front of the nebula, but it does need to dry first for that to be possible. See. Sometimes it's easier to just look at the screen. Let's get a few tiny little stars in. That's going to add a little bit more depth to the painting. Is this possible? I'm just going to do something like this. No, it's better with the... I have a brush for that. So this, I think, just adds a little bit more life to the painting. The nice thing, of course, with nebulas here is that you can always have a star in front of a cloud, which you can't with normal clouds. So in some ways, a lot of the rules you can kind of throw out the window. The rules for landscape painting, I mean. Whew, I still have to kind of calm down after that first live stream. It started so well. I'm getting a little bit more into the painting again. People are probably watching different Olympic Games though. It's probably a different time to compete. Even we watched the opening ceremony. My home is situated on a mountain, and on the mountain stars look much more, closer and bright because of the height and low pollution. Oh, right. Yeah, we have something like that here too, but you are probably even higher than us. I remember on the Mongolian plateau, there's just, I mean, here it's incredible too. It's just when you can just see the entire Milky Way and the sky just opens up and it feels like you could just fall into the universe. We're definitely gonna have to paint a large painting with the universe and just a huge amount of stars, and just to recreate that feeling. I can imagine in the Himalayas, it must be amazing. Let's close that window. And I think there aren't that many lawnmowers. Oh, that might be wrong. They are probably everywhere. So let's add, well, that actually inspired me to add a lot more stars. I am thinking if I should do something about that sun. Well, let's get the light down a little bit more. At least artificially removing a little bit of the sun. A few more yellow stars. It's small yellow stars we can make. And of course it's going to pop a lot more when we make the big ones. But it's nice to have a little carpet of small stars in the background first. Yeah, we definitely need to visit the Himalayas at some point. It sounds, and from what I've seen from documentaries, it just seems an incredible place. Very different mountains, I imagine. Something like that, and it really is helpful to just look at the look at the screen here a little bit, see what you guys are seeing. There's no way I can truly move out here. Probably we can make this star a little bit brighter. I'm trying to kind of envision the things that we can do here. I don't want it to be too messy either. There is such a thing as just overfilling a painting. And we don't want to do that. Where is the sun coming from here? Oh, never mind. What we can do first is to make it a little bit brighter on the bottom here. If we add it quite thickly, and then smear it out, it's going to have a little bit of a glow, and that is something I really want. If you've seen the Pillars of Creation nebula, it has this glow from the pillars that is just incredible, and it's something I really want to try to recreate more. I'm not going to really be able to do that too much here, but I can do a little start and then recreate it more on a different nebula at some other point. But I think we're getting a little bit of that glow here. And if you've seen those these pillars, there's kind of these streams of gas that's kind of streaming away from the pillars. So let's create a little bit of that here too. On above your right on the trees should add some darkness a bit. On your right on the trees. Okay. Above your right, which is here, on the trees, of the trees, should add some darkness. Let's see, you might mean here though. And I agree, let's do that. So the trees can be a little bit lighter than the night sky. Some places I think they're going to be a little bit darker than the sky, and some places they can be a little bit lighter. Let's add a little bit of darkness. You can add a little bit of darkness here too. That way, if you meant either of the edges, we'll get it. Now that can either be nebula or just space. I have to remove a few stars to do that. I can add them back afterwards. It is going to have to dry a little bit before we're going to be able to do that much more. Just try to lean away from the sun here. The reason I'm not doing anything is that I keep thinking about finishing the stream and making dinner. It's time soon. This was meant to be a little bit more of a test stream. And I really wanted to get a little bit done and get a little bit into it here. And then the next stream we can make a little bit more proper and a little bit better planned and so on. So it is possible to add some more dark nebulas too. For instance here. Make our own kind of dark cloud. Let's see, I am going to remove that very annoying bit of sun. Not entirely sure how to do that without doing something very stupid. Maybe that'll work. Oh, that is better. And then of course we're gonna have to turn this lighter again. Better than nothing. Yeah, a little bit like that. Okay, let's get back to the nebula. So I'm trying to see it. Let's not have my hair in from above. Question is, of course, if the light from the nebula should come into the trees or not. I'm not entirely decided upon that. Let's see how it looks if the trees are much darker than the sky. At least here. And I think that might be nice. We can maybe make the details. It's going to be possible to just use black. to make a really stark contrast. And that might be something that I'd prefer, because that should make the nebula glow more. I am so glad that the days are getting shorter. I can't wait. Now, at this time, it's 6:30. It should start to get dark. We should have a lovely sunset. There should be no sun coming in my window. I am so happy about that. It's already possible to sleep better, but I can't wait to have proper sunsets that is possible to actually observe. And it's going to be possible to wake up with the sun instead of having it be bright day, 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm incredibly glad to have the year change now. I can't wait. I absolutely can't wait. And it's going to be possible to paint proper candle holders. It's been basically impossible to paint on my candle holders here. It was really difficult for the last launch because I need to paint them with a candle inside. But of course it's not dark, so it's really been a pain. I don't really want to. In the winter, we keep, especially in kind of March, we are so sun starved and so looking forward to spring. And then, like 1 to 2 months later, I can't wait to have winter back again. But I suppose we're living in the right area for that. Because it is coming very, very soon. It is absolutely coming soon. This definitely needs to dry soon, though. I'm trying to figure out where to go from here. We could work a little bit on the landscape. Oh, that's nice. How many hours you dedicate a day to practice your art, and how many to the marketing part? Well, I started to paint when I was 19, and it took about 10 years before I started to really sell anything. So in the beginning, I just painted and I didn't try to sell at all. Of course, I was a student, a political science student. I didn't, not actually art. So I could do that. And a student for a lot of the time, and some other things. But now, instead, in terms of practicing, I don't. Everything that I do, in a way, is a practice and something to produce. It can take anything from 8 hours a day to now I'm working 50% because I'm at the farm too. I paint in a way that's, yes, there are very much creative parts, but there's also a lot of parts that are technical, which means that I can paint when I'm not inspired, so I can kind of have an 8-hour work day. For the marketing part, I've been very, very, very lucky. So I don't have the best tips to give there, since it's really Lena, my well, you probably know me through Lena. If you don't, Lena Henningsen, my girlfriend, my fiance, is a YouTuber, or makes videos and puts them on YouTube. And her channel is so big that I didn't really have to focus on building an audience. I just had the audience through her, and I still have the audience through her. Most of you, if not everyone who watches me here, has found me through her. So I'm always very careful trying to give advice on how to build an audience, because I got hers. I'm spending more and more time trying to build an audience. And of course, filming And then cutting a video can take an entire day, if not more. And it's really difficult to balance those. I can't give you any proper suggestions, as I said, because my experience is just something else, and I think it would be wrong to give you tips based on something I didn't do myself. But what I've definitely noticed is that without a big audience, I wouldn't be able to sell what I do. Without Lena's very big audience, it wouldn't be possible to live off of it. So the only tip I can give is that don't neglect building an audience. It's really going to be the way, but also don't, I don't know, it's so difficult because you need an audience, but it's so important to not do it for an audience. It's so important to have fun and to kind of forget about that as well at times, and not always think, oh, I should create some content and something, and kind of losing the fun, losing the creativity is really important not to do. But yeah, as I said, I am spending more and more time trying to build an audience and engaging. This is, of course, a part of it. This is brilliant because, I mean, live streams is, of course, the best of both worlds because I'm creating content, building an audience, and producing, because this is going to go in the shop. This is for my next launch. But then again, only way to have live streams with anyone actually watching, you need an audience already, and I get that through Lena. So yeah, that's kind of my answer. It's not a proper answer, and it's not a proper piece of advice. I try to do it when it kind of feels right, and what I have noticed, I am still not at all where I want to be in terms of creating things that are nice to watch. I need a certain regularity there, which is what I'm hoping to do with, for instance, the live streams. But of course, have a good setup. I would focus more on something that I've always neglected, is on quality. If it's gonna take you a month to create something nice, and even if no one watches it, better that than create a lot of things. Eventually someone's going to see it. If it's really nice, it's really good, it's going to catch the right people, I think. So focus on the things that make you that you like to create, and focus on the quality, and you'll get there. I think. The main way for me really to be able to live off of this has really been to create things that I can sell, though, and that is something that has been really important, which is why a lot of the things that I paint are candle glasses and talismans and painting on books and so on. But I am sure that there are an enormous amount of different ways to do it. Some people have a very tiny little audience, but they're incredibly dedicated and buy paintings for thousands of dollars. Others, like me, focus a little bit more on quantity. Others make exhibitions. There's just I am sure, just an infinite variety of ways of doing it. What I didn't do is I didn't really take a lot of tips from people. And I'm really glad about that, because there's no one that I knew that did it the way that me and Lena built this up. So all of the advice I got were counterproductive and completely different than what we ended up doing. I know I got quite a few, not derogatory, but kind of people asking me when I was going to stop painting on pots and pans and focus on big oil paintings again. And it turned out that pots and pans, well, basically cups and glasses, is kind of the main way for me to get an income and a wonderful thing to paint on. So don't listen to people that have no idea what you're doing. That's the best piece of advice I can give. Nature and I have some advice for audience building that makes some nature and your day's video, and then advice for audience building that make your day's video. Well, I'm not entirely sure what you meant. You might want to have to say that again, Aman. But if you mean kind of to make some videos about one's life and so on, I think if that is what you mean, the sense that it's important for people to get to know you, I think that is true. That it's not necessarily just about kind of showing off how brilliant and different your art is. It's also just to kind of do the human thing and allow people to kind of get to know you. I think it depends a little bit how willing you are to share of yourself, and you don't necessarily have to do that. But I know when people buy at least the things from us, it really helps that they know us and have a connection with us. And I think that makes it a very different experience to buy something from what I do, when you have a feeling that you know the people behind it. And in some ways, I think that's almost more important. I think if people really have a connection to the artist, then they'll see things in the art they would never see otherwise. I'm gonna plant some trees. What would be nice perhaps is to have a little blue glow in the forest, and then we'll have some trees in front of that. Let's paint a little bit of a blue glow, I think. It still works. I can't believe it. It's been going for an hour. I really do need to go and make some dinner soon. But it's been going for an hour and it still works. I think the setup is good. Next time we will banish the sun and I can prepare a little bit better, and we can do this from the beginning. But I am really pleased that the stream worked, and that you guys actually joined. I didn't tell anyone about this stream beforehand, so I'm really glad that some people actually came and joined me here. You guys joined me. A live stream alone is a little bit sad. It's not the worst thing, it can be, but it's kind of, then I could just film. So what I'm doing now, you guys can't see. I have to make sure, I have to get used to the fact that I have a camera above me. Like that, because as you can see now it might look a little bit strange, but the nice thing with just adding a blue background, if you then, let's see, let's just get some black here. You can put the black here so you can see it. And if we then just add some stripes down, we have the background for a forest. Oh, that's too big. Probably the wrong brush for this, but I'm just gonna this is something I learned a long time ago, and I use it way too seldom. Because then you kind of have a mysterious light in your forest. Something like that. I'm gonna work more on that, but the only thing that I want now is just to have a kind of a general sense of how the forest is going to be. And once all of this dries, it's going to be possible to paint things on top of it. So it's nice to kind of just establish the colors and so on. So I think I am going to call it a day there. We got very far with the painting. A shame that I can't show you the beginning of it because that stream was just a mess. But I'm glad it worked so well, and I really look forward to having more live streams now. Now we have the setup. So I'm just going to, as I often do, I'm just going to clean my brushes, and then I'm going to go and make dinner and cool off a little bit. So the next stream I will be, I will give everyone a little bit more of a heads up, but I am really happy with the setup, and I can't wait to have a new stream very soon. Hello, Daughter of the King. It was a time when you painted with acrylic paints. Oh no, I always painted with oil. So I started to paint with my grandfather's oil painting kit. So I've never painted with acrylics. I tried it a few times, and when you're used to oil painting, the rapidity of acrylic paints, the way they dry, is a shock to any oil painter. So that was a bit too shocking for me. Okay, so thank you everyone, and I'll be seeing you soon in even more properly planned live stream. So thank you for now, and I'll see you in the next one.